white people cause curses and everything.
Yeah. Like, what should happen to white people for what they did to so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans? What should happen to them?
Even the ones that don't deserve it.
I mean, why would you say they don't deserve it?
Because I'm just thinking about they don't get punished.
Most white people benefit off of slavery. Do you not know the national economy goes all the way back to slavery? Slavery was the economy.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm saying?
it was.
Right. How you think a lot of these Fortune 500 companies was established? Blood money. Listen, and your people won't even give my people reparations. They gave reparations to the Japanese. They gave reparations to the Jewish man. They gave reparations to multiple other races of people, but refused to give it to us. Why is that? Why do you think they won't give us reparations? As a so-called white man, what do you think? Why do you think so-called white people refuse to give blacks and Latinos reparations and Native Americans?
Honestly, it took me a while to get reparations for being homeless. And
No, reparations.
reparation, I can't give it to you. Straight answer.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna tell you why. Because your people are the wicked. Now you're a humble Edomite. I'll give you that. You didn't come up here
I was gonna ask if you
puffed up
wanted-
and being proud, scoffing. You actually came. You listened. You was honest.
It's if you wanted to get something off your chest or
Yeah.
had to do it. I
Yeah.
was gonna ask if you wanted to get something. I have like a card, a stamp card. You want some food.
If you want to give me some food, you can give me some food and bring it back. That's the least you can do. That is the very least you can do.
I got you.
All right, buddy. Enjoy the rest of your day. Don't forget, you're an Edomite, bro. Esau. You're not a European. You're not German. You're an Edomite. My name is Future Slave Master.
Alright.
That's it.
I'll be back.
All right, buddy. And just like that, man. Okay? We out here to prophesy the downfall of America. And to speak the truth, thus saith the Lord. All right, now let's go back to Ezekiel. Right? Because I want to finish Ezekiel. Right. Matter of fact, no. We're gonna move with the spirit, bro. We're gonna move with the spirit, bro. Right? Let's go to let's jump to Exodus, man. All right? Let's jump to Exodus. Because I'm gonna show you how the same people who are slaves in Egypt are the same people who are slaves in America. Right? That movie really made me upset. Not a movie, but that TV series really made me upset, bro. They really portrayed the Israelites as some white people. Right? Let me get this real quick. It's Ecclesiastes. Because America is nothing but lies, bro. You so-called white people, biggest liars on earth, bro. It's Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9. The thing that have been, it is that which shall be. So the things that happened in the past on planet Earth, the same things are happening again. And that which is done is that which shall be done. So some of the practices, traditions, belief, ways of men, right, that you've seen in the earth in times past, if it have not been circulated again, it's gonna manifest itself again. And there is no new thing under the sun. There is no new thing under the sun. History always repeats itself. So I'm gonna show you how history repeated itself. Let's jump to Exodus, bro. Let's jump to the book of Exodus. Right? Because the same tactics that the Egyptians used on our people, some of those same tactics the so-called white man used today or used in the inception of America. And I'm gonna prove that. This is Exodus chapter 1, verse Let's start at verse 7. Verse 7. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them. Same way in America, right? Because we're the most fruitful people, right? Nobody procreates more than so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. It's literally a running joke when it comes to Latinos, preferably Mexicans, about like all they do is just fuck and their women get pregnant. Like every time you turn around, a Mexican woman is pregnant. That's a long running joke, right? In the black and Latino community, bro. And I'm pretty sure they make jokes about us, right? You go into the hospital right now, you go into labor and delivery, you're gonna see a bunch of black and Latino women. I promise you. You might see a few white people, a few white women, but the majority of those people in labor and delivery are gonna be blacks and Latinos, because the Most High blessed the womb of the black and Latino and Native American women. So the same way we was fruitful and we multiplied and became exceedingly strong in Egypt, the same thing happened in America. And they know that. This is why they gotta break you down into subgroups, right? They gotta divide out people so they can run away with the idea of us being minorities. When they know we're not the minority. They know we're not the minority, but they break us in these groups so they can say we're minorities. Right? But the same way we multiplied in Egypt, the same way we multiplied in America. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. The same thought the so-called white man had in his head, bro. It's the same train of thought the so-called white man had. He see us, bro, right? He seen how we was becoming exceedingly great and multiplying, right? How fruitful we are. And he's saying that we were mightier than him, right? Like he always had this train of thought. That's why he always had to use tactics to turn us against each other, bro, to try to neutralize our people. It happened during slavery. That's why you had the Willie Lynch letter, right? You try to turn out people against each other and divide us by, you know, using colorism and height, and put the man against the woman and the woman against the man. And you get what I'm saying? When we had black leaders that rose up during the time of civil rights, like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, the Black Panthers, they killed all of them, bro. Because it's one thing to outnumber them. That's one thing, bro. They don't like that. They don't like the fact that we outnumber them. But it's another thing for our people to be wise and, you know, to have our eyes open and be woke up to the fact that we're being oppressed, and we come together on one accord to try to break those chains, try to free ourselves from captivity. That's why they pumped our neighborhood with drugs, killed our leaders, right? You had the black exploitation period when they showed us as pimps and drug dealers and gangsters. All right, let's continue. Come and let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. So they say, listen, man, we gotta come up with a crafty tactic, right? We need to figure out a way to subdue these niggas, bro. Right? It's way more of them than it is of us. And let's say we happen to go war with one of these nearby nations, right? What if they team up with them? They're like, we done. They're like, there's a bunch of them, then you got them, they gonna eliminate us, bro. So they say we need to figure out a way to subdue these niggas, bro. And they do the same thing today, bro. That's why you got depopulation. What you think depopulation is about? Right? If we're so much of the minority, why do you make it your business to depopulate us? trying to get out women. You know how many of our people have been murdered by way of abortion, bro? Yeah, I blame the black woman, but I also blame the government as well. Because that should even be legal. But it's legal for a reason. But my point is, if we was the minority, right? Let's say we were the minority, then why would you make it your business to invest into depopulation? Why are you trying to get our women to abort their babies and to take Plan B pills, right? And to wear condoms? Why? Because you know we outnumber y'all. And you're afraid that one day we might wake up and go to war against you and take you down. You don't want that. Let's continue. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with burdens. And we got taskmasters today. All right? That's your boss. All right? I'm sure the average adult got a job. You know, your supervisor, your manager, all right? Your lead. These are the taskmasters of today. Okay? Shit, I even look at police as taskmasters. They ain't nothing but a new form of slave patrol. Let's continue. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. So, we built the pyramids in Egypt. We built multiple cities in Egypt. The same way we built up America. Let me give y'all a little bit of history, right? So-called slaves built the White House. Did you know that? They gonna make sure something like that don't become common knowledge. But it's practical, it's accessible. Like, it's something you should already know, bro. Our people built the White House. We built the Capitol building. We built the University of North Carolina. We built your roads, your bridges, your railroads, your streets. All of the infrastructure of America, not all of it, but the vast majority of the infrastructure of America was built by our people. The same way we built up Egypt. Remember, there's nothing new under the sun. The Egyptians had us in captivity. We built up their society. The white man got us in captivity. We built up their society. I'm drawing a parallel. Okay? And these other nations, they don't give a fuck about you niggas, bro. They don't give a fuck about you so-called blacks and Latinos. There's nothing but smiles on that face, bro. Right? And we're talking about our people being oppressed. Our people being murdered. Right? Our people being in captivity. What is funny about that? Why is it smiles on the faces of these so-called white people? On the faces of these Chinese people? Right? On the faces of these Africans? Even on the faces of some of my own people. Why? What is funny about that? Because they don't care. Your oppression does not matter to them because they're not being oppressed. They don't sympathize with you. They don't feel bad for what their ancestors did or what these so-called white people continue to do to us today. That's why it's funny to them. Big ass smiles on that face, right?